Hello, thank you for joining us today at KC Moments. My name's Robert and I'm part of the King's Church family. Every day, for the past few days, at least 24, this is the 25th day, we've been looking at the book of Proverbs, which is a list of wise sayings that we can apply to our lives. Written by King Solomon, who is reputed to be one of the wisest persons who ever lived. Before we get into our reading today, just want to ask a question. How do you cope with criticism? How do you cope with appraisals? How do you cope with people looking at what you do, what you say, how you act, and picking you up in things that they think could be better or should be done differently? Well, if you're like me, that's not always a good thing. Sometimes I react as opposed to responding to what is said. Sometimes I think, who are you to say that to me? And sometimes it depends on how things are said to you. But being appraised, being self-analysing what you're doing, or having someone that you trust and you trust their opinion, you trust their viewpoints, you trust their wisdom, helping you and mentoring you and giving you feedback is a good thing. Solomon believed that. Here's what he says in Proverbs 25, and it's verses 11 and 12 are the verses we're looking at today. Like apples of gold in settings of silver is a word aptly spoken. Like a gold earring or a gold ornament is a wise reproof to a receptive ear. First of all, we find that Solomon deals with the person who is giving the advice, giving the feedback, giving the criticism at times, and he says, like apples of gold in settings of silver. That's quite an unusual thing for us, but back in the day, back in Solomon's day, they would make beautiful wooden ornaments, and they would make them like of fruit, of animals, whatever, just as ornaments as you would have in the house. And apples would have been one of the things that they would have made. Now, that in itself would look beautiful, crafted by a master craftsman, look beautiful, but then covered and overladen with gold would just make it outstanding. I'm sure you've seen some beautiful ornaments in shops and you think, that is beautiful. And that's what Solomon says about words. Aptly spoken. There's a key word in there. Aptly spoken. If you just criticise people for the sake of criticising people and pick people up on what they do just for the sake of it, it's not aptly spoken. Aptly spoken is when you use a bit of grace, a bit of wisdom, a bit of compassion. You look at all the circumstances and you inject something into people's lives that encourage, that motivate, that inspire. Aptly spoken. For example, that's my wife's a school teacher, and they have a saying at school, and it's like 2 stars on the wish when they're giving feedback to pupils. So they pick out 2 good things that the child or the pupil has done, and then there's a wish, something that they can improve on, something that will help them in what they're trying to achieve. Yeah, you're fantastic at this, you're brilliant at this. Here's where you could improve. Here's where you could take things a little bit better if you looked at it this way, and then they finish up by saying, listen, you can do this. No, your tenacity, your perseverance, it's there. That's good. 2 stars and 1 wish. So if you're someone who does give advice or who likes to criticise, think about how you do it. Encourage people, build people up. That's the whole point of it. A word aptly spoken. The other verse is for those who hear. Like a gold earring or gold ornament is a wise reproof to a receptive ear. The picture being painted there is like someone wearing an earring, a beautiful gold earring, or it could be a ruby or a pearl, whatever. There's beautiful earrings out there. And the thing about earrings, I remember I've got 2 young sisters, and I remember they wanted their ears pierced and they decided to do it themselves. So they got a potato, they got a needle, and the agony of piercing their ears. But they did it And after a few days, they could actually put an earring in. And that's kind of like receiving words that you're like, I really didn't want to hear that. That's cutting, that's hurting, that's painful. But if you've got a receptive ear to say, you know what, even though the attitude and the way the word was delivered to me, the word of wisdom, the word of encouragement, of reproof, of rebuke, even though it was given to me abruptly, you know, or I didn't actually like to hear what was said because I thought it was brilliant, you know, I thought what I was doing was fantastic, but think of the word itself, examine what was said, analyse it and say, is there any truth in this? A receptive ear listens to wise words and wise wisdom. May be painful at the time, but if you take it on board in your life, if you take words of wisdom, words of encouragement, words that help you to mature, help you to go on and do better in the job you're doing, the life you're living, bringing your family up, this word's applicable to every area of life, then do you know what? It will be like a beautiful gold earring or pearl earring in your ear as you take it. Do you know, got a wee glass of water here, and you could receive words of wisdom, you could receive something that is going to refresh you, something that is going to give you life, but you have a choice. You either take it, consume it, drink it in, and apply it, allow that refreshing word, that refreshing spirit to encourage you. I hope this words this morning has been good for you, either as someone who gives advice or maybe a bit overcritical. Hopefully you pick something up there, or someone who I don't like people analysing what I do and what I say and how I do things. Be encouraged, it's for your good, it's wise, do the wise thing. As Paul said, and my prayer for you today is, Lord, let the spirit of wisdom and revelation be among the people. Thank you for joining us today. Hopefully the words have been words of encouragement, and if you would like to contact us about anything at all for prayer or just for help in any way, please contact us at hello@connect.co.uk. Thank you.